also note that there is a talent show at the Rec Center, which is a pool fundraiser on March 22nd. And there's on Saturday, April 5th at 4, the Rec Center is having the elderly brothers who've come before to do a fundraiser. And that's also pretty cool. So if anybody has time to come to that, we'd really appreciate it. So our agenda tonight is a lot of review of things that are coming up.
Can I just say one thing? Sure. With the talent show, Jessica is heading that up. Well, she's had some personal situations.
Okay.
And so there might be a change, so I just want to let everybody aware of it. She's going to have to step down from overseeing it because of her personal issues. So there may be a change in date. So
Okay.
I just want everyone to be aware of that.
Can you reach out and if there's a change, just make sure Jill gets posted on the website?
I sure will.
Okay, thanks. So first is just this, the Stop DWI agreement. This is a standard agreement that we do every year. No, that's next week.
Okay.
Yeah. You should have your minutes.
Yeah,
in there. That's just for you to review, and next week we approve them. Okay. So the Stop DWI, this is your first workshop meeting, that's why.
First of the year.
Yeah, we've had so many snow days this year. So, yeah, this is a pretty standard agreement. We can do this next week, just so you guys have a chance to review it, but it's pretty much what we do every year. And the town gets, the police department gets some reimbursement for this too. It's like there's a grant that gets attached to that. The second thing on the list is an agreement for police and court for Crosspoint. What I asked them to do was do it quarterly, since we're kind of, still in transition here. And that's for the telephone system. Hopefully by the end of the quarter, we'll be moved into a new space. We got a $20,000 grant through court, and we need to process that grant to get the court done before we move everybody over. So
That's really
yeah, it's to do the work that has to be done in the actual courtroom to make it change the library into a courtroom.
That's great.
So that is going to be hold us up a little bit. I didn't want to move police over and court until that's done. So that's going to just take a little time. The next thing on the list, I do have a catalog here from CINTAS. Bob Gallagher, our new highway superintendent, has done some research. We have 3 companies that he looked at, and this was the best deal. And basically the contract, we've been trying to look at something to change our uniforms for a while because the staff has complained about itchiness and cleanliness. And now that the other contracts run out, we can go for a new contract. So, he pulled the 3 departments that use the uniforms. One is the water and sewer, the transfer station, and highway. And they're looking to do something a little bit nicer, maybe something a little collar, like a polo shirt. And the other thing that's nice is they also can provide jackets. One of the things we've paid them to buy jackets, so this year we'll probably continue to let them finish. They bought their jackets this year, but we can go on and maybe just have jackets that get rented too instead of leased. So that's another option going with this company.
Are they local companies or any?
That's
CINTAS is a
a
national company, but they do have
And they'll
service around here. Yeah,
Yes.
coast to coast.
There are 3 uniform companies.
Some big issues, but
I don't have the resolution here because we're going to do that next week.
we have
And,
a lot.
Let's see, CINTAS.
are they made out of? Just curious, like the shirts and,
You know what, here's the
Anything
catalog, you can take a look. I'm doubting it. But I don't know. Probably for washing purposes, they probably are not, probably want something that cleans easy, but.
CINTAS has come onto the scene pretty big,
Yeah, they're a national company.
and I've heard a lot of good things about them.
I know Bob's been doing some research,
Mhm.
and he's spoken to me about it. This does seem to be the best deal in town.
Yeah, it's a big cost savings because they don't charge a fuel charge and an environmental fee, which the others companies do. And plus they're less money, and he feels that they're gonna do a better job keeping the incomes clean. But you guys, if anyone has some questions, I'd say reach out to Bob this week before our next meeting so that you can, ask him if there's any other questions you have about this. And I just brought, that's his one catalog, but if you wanna look it over before.
He does have the other two companies?
He's reviewed three bids basically, and
Yeah, and there was a local company also.
So he'll be coming next week to give a presentation.
Ulster
I don't-
Uniform, and
only if we want him to, otherwise he's gonna,
Oh, yeah, we want him to.
I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
he's trying to catch up on his sleep.
That's what we want here.
I mean, always if they're local companies, that's always best. I know we have to watch the bottom line.
Yeah,
We do have to watch the bottom line, I agree that it's good to go, but I think he's looking at, not just money, but quality of
Mhm.
care. I mean, that's been a big issue, is that
Right.
people have warned them because they're itchy and then they won't put them on, So that's been, and I think it was the detergents and stuff that was bothering them more than the material. But people were taking them home and washing them, that kind of, instead of letting the company do
Were
it.
they taking them off, or were they just going in the shower with them
I
on?
don't know.
Because that could cause a
I'll
problem.
let you answer that question. All right, so, that'll be.
the only local company would be Ulster Uniform.
Right.
And you can see the difference in the prices. And again, like Gene said, if anybody's got any questions, they can.
CINTAS is right on 32 in almost Newburgh. Actually, I think it is Newburgh.
Yeah, it's one of their
It's in-
barns. They've got a number of them throughout, well, they're all over the country.
Right.
Gene, while we're on the highway superintendent and the highway department in general, I just want to give kudos to the whole department and Bob for staying on top of the snow removal throughout town, specifically on Main Street, James Street. And I think it's the third time that they've removed it this year.
Yep.
And the one thing I do want to point out is that the Main Street snow removal is not a responsibility of the town. It's a state highway, and it's just something that, we've gotten into, really out of necessity, but as a courtesy to the businesses over the years. So that's something over and above. And also I want to mention too, if anybody walked in this evening and saw that right in front of the rec center was all nice and swept, I was quite surprised. And Bob sent the guys down today to do that. And that, believe it or not, saves so much wear and tear of, bringing in the dirt and the sand into this building, and it saves Mike a whole lot of backbreaking work, so. And in years past, we haven't seen that many times, taking the time to sweep right here in front. It makes such a difference, especially when we get into the rainy weather and the mud gets tracked in, so.
And I think everybody realizes this has been the worst year in many, many years, so, what they had to do was really step it up, and they did, so. These guys were working pretty much close to around the clock there for a few times.
Yeah.
So.
And it's not past tense, I don't think.
Yeah.
And when they haven't been removing snow, they've been out there reclaiming sand too.
And also, after they were done plowing, they went back out and cleaned up corners so people could see around the corners because the piles of snow were so high, so, it wasn't just like plowing for the day, it was going back and getting rid of ice and getting rid of, snow that was blocking sight lines for the corners, so it was a lot of extra work.
I had talked to Bob about, when we were here for the New York Rising meeting, maybe it was before that, about meeting with, meeting with interested community members to just basically, review how the highway department works, how their storm what their storm response procedures are, how the roads differ, state roads versus local roads, and the responsibilities differ, and give people a chance to ask questions. And Bob was very receptive to doing that, and was interested in doing that, so we'll set that up hopefully soon.
Well, Jen, to that point, if anybody isn't aware, that Bob set up a Facebook page for the Highway Department. So you can go on the Highway Department Facebook page and see what's been done that day, or what's projected to be done for the week, specifically when there's snow removal or things like that. Bob will put out there that he'd like to see the cars off Main Street and James Street on certain days, because they're going to start at 4 a.m. So it's a tool for everybody to use to, try to keep up to snuff as to what's happening with the Highway Department.
And also as a reminder, I'm the liaison for the Highway Department, so I'm somewhat of a buffer, so if you can't get to Bob, you can get to me. I've taken over Bob's spot, so it's all new for me, but I've met with Bob a couple of times, and he's given me the rundown of the garage, how he's doing, what he needs, da-da-da-da-da. So I need to be able to offer assistance or get questions to him a little bit easier.
We're going to be going back to the highway. We can skip if we want since we're talking about that, but there is a resolution on our agenda, which is number 6, since we're on the highway subject. We have to amend the resolution we did last month, because there was a $300 charge that was mistakenly left off. So it's on the last page, there's a document fee. It's just something that they forgot to put on there. So the totals are amended on the new resolution to reflect those $300. So if everybody's okay with that, I'd like to redo this resolution tonight so they can go ahead and place their order. Is that all right?
Go through that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, which one is it?
it's number 6.
No,
It's this one. Amendment to purchase 2 new pieces of highway equipment. Remember we did that the other day?
right.
You missed it, though?
No, I got to read here.
All right, so that's 3/2014-1. Resolution amendment to purchase 2 new pieces of highway equipment. Whereas the Town of Rosendale Highway Department has need to replace an outdated 1991 roller, and whereas the town is trading in 3 pieces of equipment, which are a roller, track loader, and grader with a trade-in value of $8,500, and whereas the town has a need to purchase a skid steer loader with a cold planer, and the town is trading in a Kawasaki loader with a trade-in value of $16,000. And whereas the town highway superintendent, Bob Gallagher, has researched such equipment and makes a recommendation to purchase a JCB roller model BMT 380-130, and also a skid steer loader model 280T4, and also include an 18-inch cold planer. Now therefore be resolved that these 2 pieces of equipment will enhance the town repairing of the road's infrastructure at a total cost of $81,604.71. Be it further resolved that the cost of said equipment will be based on 5 yearly payments of $17,487.75 per year, the first payment coming out of capital and future payments coming out of the equipment line of the highway budget, DA 5130.2. Be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Rosendale hereby authorizes the purchase of said equipment from the aforementioned vendor. We're going to get a second?
I'll second it. I was still reading.
We're all looking at you.
Okay, I second. Yes.
Nice pick.
Roll vote, Councilman Hassett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger.
Yes.
Councilman Kozlowski.
Yes.
Councilman Ryan.
Yes.
Supervisor Wall.
Yes. Okay. So then back to number 4, this is a Central Hudson and Fortis company combination now. They had made a promise to make funds available to the community, and there's a Main Street Revitalization Economic Development Program. I'd like to propose that we do an application for this. It's a $250,000 application to revitalize since we are doing some water main replacement on Main Street, I thought it would be a good way to build back our Main Street a little bit, enhance it as we go back and redo the Main Street after the water line is replaced. So, obviously, you can see it's due March 31st. Unfortunately, I could not get some questions answered today. Some people have been out on vacation this past week, so I will hopefully have a little more information for you before next Wednesday. But as you can see, time is of the essence if we want to get this in. And the application is here, and it is on the website if you want to look at it some more. The one question I asked about was whether we can, I'm wondering about the matching funds, is what I'm wondering about whether we
What's
can.
your match?
Well, it's a 250, or maybe it's 240, I'm not sure exactly, and if we have to match the funds, or can we use another grant to match the funds, is what I want to know. So,
Earmark some rising funds.
maybe, because we did mention,
Yes.
building back,
So
especially
that's part of
if we do
our-
the stormwater, we do the water line,
Yeah.
and then we get this, that makes 3 ways that we can build back that better.
There was talk a while back when we do all of this, the water main act, about doing period streetlights.
It's on my list, but I don't know how they'll take it, we can ask and we can try, but we don't
Because
know.
I thought that would be really dynamite.
It's the electric lines I'm concerned about, we probably could get period lighting, but whether, do we want to go through the trouble of having period lighting if we don't get rid of the poles and the lines anyway? So
Right.
that's the question.
And that is something we can,
I understand perfectly, yeah.
now,
Good
James,
point.
that's something we can explore as part of or apart from the grant, the bearing of the lines.
I think, I haven't had a chance to discuss this with them and see what things would be on the table. So either way, even if they don't allow us to do that, it's still a chance to buy, maybe some park benches and some other things, and maybe make some storefront revitalization and that kind of stuff, look at,
Yep.
maybe we're gonna need extra money to rebuild our sidewalks after we do all this work, so that's the kind of stuff that I wanna be prepared if this is another way to get some funding in.
This is a great opportunity.
So, I recommend you guys take a look at this and read it, and because we really don't have a lot of time, I want to put the application in next Wednesday, after next Wednesday, so.
Do you have enough for all of this?
I put one in the bag.
Jean, you might be able to use the whole grant just on Main Street, but something else to consider maybe is to see if we
32.
can incorporate the gateway.
I did talk to them about that, because one of the things that makes you qualified is empty spaces, if you have empty storefronts and stuff, so, yes, I agree, it should be, both corridors, 213, Main Street. The only thing is, it says it's a Main Street grant, so I just want to see, how strictly we're gonna, what do we call our Main Street, and what, really is our center of town, so, I agree that I'll explore that with them. And I think, whichever way, it kind of, we can make this work, but I do agree it's another way to bring, and we've identified some revitalization money also with the New York Rising, so, kind of tying it all together makes sense, so. Jen, maybe I'll let you speak on this next one. This is the New York State Unified Solar Permit that you.
NYSERDA is offering an incentive. The state is offering, they will essentially give municipalities $2,500 to adopt the New York State Unified Solar Permit. The reason why this is important is that, there are over 900 municipalities, towns in New York State, and many of them have completely different permitting requirements for solar. And that is actually a big cost to install. So sorry. That's a big cost to install, a big part of the installment cost. Really sorry about that. It is me. It'll take me a minute to do that. So, and it also, it just slows down the expansion of solar in New York State. So this is, this will really help a lot with our local and regional and state goals of expanding renewable energy use by just simplifying the process across the state. So they make the permit, it's a fairly simple process, but, you know, our building department, Tom Fiore, our building inspector, will have to go over it and, you know, make sure everything works with our town.
Yep.
And that's about it. And I hope we could do it in April.
Yeah, I think the thing to do is to be sure that it's gonna streamline it and not make it more difficult for people to get the solar. That's the thing that we have to kind of check
Right.
and balance. But I will, I'll run this by Tom, and I'll let him do a little research and see what kind of feedback you can give us on this.
And just add, this is only for systems that are 12 kilowatts or less. So it's not for giant solar systems, it's for basically home systems.
So a lot of the people, I had, you know, when we talked about this, a lot of people are getting the rental solar systems or the leasing systems. And I just want to be sure that this can cover that too, because we, you know, I think that's the affordable way right now for people to be able to get solar,
Yeah,
so we want to make sure that's still work for them.
Will this result in a fee for a potential
So-
homeowner that wants to put an application on their house?
It's up to the building department. The one thing we do,
It's a
the only
per-
thing
it's
is
a permitted-
set the fee.
Yeah, we have,
That's the home rule municipal?
Yes,
right,
yes.
we already
so-
have it's part of our permit process anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to
I
get a
didn't know if this
building.
We have some fee for it, but we
Yeah.
I
can
didn't
set
know
it.
if this was,
yeah.
you know, in addition to.
Yeah, no, no.
Supervisor Kutan in the board will be an excellent one for questions, because
Yeah.
I don't care, whenever you run into him, that's the first thing out of his mouth.
Yeah. Have you seen his solar panels?
Exactly.
John runs on solar himself.
Yeah, I think so.
He's a big
So, I
asset.
mean, they would be great ones to answer questions, since they're in the midst of having it, and to reach out to them.
All right, so the next thing on the agenda, we do have to do a resolution to seek bids for purchase and removal of scrap metal. Town's recycling center needs to get a new company to come in and take metal, and we have to do an RFP for this, and in order for it to go in the paper, and for the time that we have on this, we need to do it tonight. Anyway, if you guys want a couple minutes to read through it, it's basically.
It's pretty boilerplate.
It's boilerplate RFP.
Here it is.
It's pretty much the same specifications we've had previously, it's just putting them out to a different,
And
Seeking
Mandy's
a
all
different
set
provider.
to put it in paper, and,
Yeah.
you know, we want to get it in there so that, what is it, the 10th you have to get it in the paper?
things.
So, that, and then that means on the 20, they have to have it in by the 21st. So this is resolution 32014-2. Resolution seeking sealed bids for purchase and removal of scrap metal. Whereas the town of Rosendale has from time to time a supply of recyclable scrap metal in need of removal. And whereas the town of Rosendale is seeking sealed bids for removal, weighing, and purchase of said scrap metal from the town of Rosendale Transfer Station, 414 Whiteport Road, Rosendale, New York, as more specifically set forth in the notice to bidders attached here to and made a part hereof. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Rosendale hereby authorizes the seeking of sealed bids in the aforementioned manner. Legal notification for bids shall be placed with Kingston Daily Freeman according to law and regulations. Bids shall be received by the town of Rosendale town clerk on or before Friday, March 21st, 2014 at 12 o'clock p.m. at the Rosendale Town Hall, 1915 Lucas Avenue, Cottington, New York, 12419, at which time said bids shall be publicly opened and read aloud.
I had a
I'll
question.
second that.
I guess I can.
Yes, you can. Go ahead.
Why are we taking sealed bids? Because it seems like it's kind of a gamble. Why we just don't scrap it
You don't have to
ourselves?
accept any bid. You can,
Right, but what I'm saying is, since the price varies, I mean, I've seen as low as $6.50 and as high as $14.
Well,
So-
the law says we have to do it
Oh,
this way.
really?
We have to do this, and we don't have to accept a bid if we don't think it's giving us what we want. We can put it back out to bid again if we, we feel that we're not getting the right price.
Because we're actually selling it, we're selling it for profit, so it's got to go out to a bid. And what that does too, Bob, it provides us uniformity throughout the year. When the prices on the commodity spike or get lowered, rather than having, say, Renee or someone from the town level having to be on top of that and knowing when to sell and when to perhaps stockpile, we can just, dispose of it on a timely basis as needed and be sure that we're going to get a set number or a set price, I should say,
Right.
for the commodities that we sell.
Because like in the state, it's always, every day it's in the paper, so everybody normally reads the paper. And we disperse it with ourselves when it's high, and then it comes back and goes
Well,
into
I guess we
red.
could make a choice to do that, but then it would be a lot of manpower that we don't really have. So the question is, if we're gonna bring a company in to take it for us, then we would have to do an RFP. If we wanted to do it ourselves and just take it to the metal place to recycle it, that could be an option, and we could explore that, but I think, we'd have to prove that that would be, in the long run, financially sound, because if it meant hiring more people or having more trucks that we don't have, that kind of stuff, then I don't know that it would be financially worth it. So that's what we have to compare those costs to.
So I was looking at it like, you know what? They constantly go up and down, so when it's up, we load up the truck, take a load down.
Yeah.
And then
What they
next
do is
time
they
around,
fill
we'll
a
get it
bin.
next time.
They
And
fill a
again, we
bin.
could, like Gene said, we could do that, but it would involve, say, George, loading up, separating, loading up the trucks, bringing them to the appropriate place, whether that be Millings or wherever, and then unloading it. And it's the wear and tear, and it just, cost-wise, it's more effective to tie yourself into a long-term contract with a set price for your commodity.
We're still gonna make money on it, one way or the other, so this is it make it easier for them to function, is what the question is.
Got it. Understood.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Jen
Sorry.
second that, so, do you want to do the roll call?
Roll vote, Councilman Hassett,
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger,
Yes.
Councilman Prislavsky,
Yes.
Councilman Ryan,
Yes.
Supervisor Walsh.
Yes. And this is just more of a notification than anything. The town ran into a little trouble with their application for assistance for water because the district is a little bit outside of the hamlet that the census took. So we're doing a survey, an income survey, which went out on Monday. And we scrambled very quickly to put together something, kind of in a couple of hours. Kudos to Teresa, she stayed late and worked over the weekend to get this done. And it did go out in the
She
mail.
did?
Yes, she did. And basically, I want, if, people to know that this is a confidential document, so people give their income, and so that we can evaluate whether the overall average income puts us at the level that we can get assistance for a grant. In the past, we have done these before for both districts, so. I encourage people to, nobody is forced, obviously, this is a voluntary request for this information, but I just want to reassure people that it will be kept private. And it's the only way we can move forward on the application is to have this information.
Do they have a certain threshold that they want to have met in terms of responses?
I believe it was in the under 45 or something like that. I can't remember if it was 43,000 or something like that per household or something like that. So, and the important thing is that it goes to the users. That's the other thing, not to, a landlord who maybe owns a building and doesn't live in town, or it has to be the actual people that are using the water. So if the survey goes to someone, we want to be sure that the people living in the apartments or living in the house are actually the ones filling out the survey.
How many families still missing, Bob?
I believe it's 550.
So this is additional confidential information we're asking for that's going to make our application more competitive
That's right.
if we do.
And unfortunately, we've always called the hamlet what was the village. But when the census was done, they kind of shrunk the hamlet and part of the district, which there was the water district is 100% was the village. And locally, we've always said that's the hamlet of Rosendale, was the village, and then it became the hamlet. Somewhere along the way, the Census Bureau changed the boundaries of the hamlet to not include that part of that district. So wasn't an accurate reflection, so we have to make sure the whole district is basically full.
So this will be mailed, I'm sorry,
It was mailed out on Monday.
got it.
There are a few people that didn't get one, and that's because we're looking for who the users are, if we know that it's a landlord. So Teresa's reaching out to those people now to try to get that information.
So to sum it up, the people that agreed to fill this out, it's a win-win, it's a benefit for them
That's right.
to make sure, and there's no social security that's required, it's
No.
just name and address and send it in because they're gonna benefit
We're gonna
from
benefit.
this, so
The
hopefully,
district has a potential to
The district as a whole will
Exactly.
benefit because we
is
don't
this
get.
the only way to get the grant
qualify.
back that we
Right.
lost the,
We strongly believe that we qualify for when we fill this out and send it in.
right, so that's important that those people realize that.
Need a door knocking campaign.
Well, this is,
Almost.
I will, that's the second part of it. So anyone who doesn't send it in, the second round will be that our water guys will be doing meter reading this week. And if they don't show up, they may knock on your door and say, remember that survey you got, Mario? Do you have it ready? Would you be willing to turn it in? So that is one of the allowed ways to do the survey. You can mail it out, you can knock on the door. So we may follow up if we don't get enough of them back.
So if you want to avoid the knock on the door, you just want to have it returned by March 14th
Yes.
to the town.
Spread the word.
I got one.
That's good.
I know people aren't comfortable with, giving this information out, and it's, if I didn't have to ask, I wouldn't, but it is one way to, it's no different than what you do when you fill out your census, and, we'll keep it confidential, it'll be just only used for this purpose only, and, but.
It goes from the town, and then who
It's the
goes to?
state, it's the
The
state.
state.
environmental facilities.
Environmental facilities, that's what does it.
And again, the reason we're asking the users to do this is we pretty much know that the income level within the district is such that it's going to give us the points that we need to get the dollars that we're going after. But as Gene said, some of the users are outside that boundary that the government uses. So the honesty is going to definitely behoove the users to get this filled out honestly. Honestly meaning, if
Don't claim you're a millionaire if you're not.
yeah.
It's not a credit card application.
Did any of you guys get these in the mail? Did you get them?
I got mine today, actually.
Is this a new program, or?
What it is that we felt that we had a lot of problems with our water district, okay? We have a water main that's basically failing under Main Street, very, very old, over 100 years old. We have a non-potable backup water system, which means when we have a problem at our plant and we have to shut the plant down, the water we have to send out, you can't drink. No matter how much you treat it, you can't drink it. The water tank has been for years been on the list that it needs to be refurbished, it needs to be repainted. If we wait any longer, it's gonna lose, we're gonna get past the date when you can actually do what you have to do to salvage it. What was else was on the list for that? And,
It's a
and
pretty
we need to,
desperate
and then,
situation.
in order to not have to go to the secondary water source, we wanna expand the actual water facility to be able to shut half of it off and have half of it running. So if you have a broken train, basically is what they call it, part breaks, you can still run the water at the capacity you need to, because you can shut down part of it. So we would expand the existing water filtration plant and shut down the water that's not potable. So in order for those things to happen, it's a stronger application to ask for the funds for it all at once. We have a water district in trouble because it needs all these repairs. It would be a huge burden to the users when it's only 550 users. So we applied for this application to get grant money, and we believe we will qualify, but because of this little snag with the survey, we've been asked, well, how can we find out? One way is to do a survey. So we did the survey in okay,
Yeah.
we can do a survey. We did the survey in one day. We put it together, so it's gonna, we just hope people respond and understand. We're not trying to, we don't want to be invasion of privacy, but we do need to get this in order to go forward. And it's to everybody who's in the district's benefit to answer the questions, so we can go back to that and still be on the list to try to get the grant money. So, anybody that is concerned or has questions, don't hesitate to call my office. I'll be happy to discuss it with you. And, if you're uncomfortable, we can discuss what the steps are we're taking to try to keep this confidential. Okay?
Maybe we want to save this for next week, but we had discussed making a motion for the list of lights that are candidates for
Thank you.
decommissioning.
I did forget about that.
Can I go
Yes.
ahead and make the motion?
Yes, you may. We're talking about to the
To the
service.
fire, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to refer the list of candidates, street lights, the candidates for decommissioning that was prepared by the Environmental Commission to the Police Department, Fire Department, and Highway Department. Is that it?
Yeah.
Any other department to add?
Fire departments.
Fire departments, yes. Yeah.
And just for their recommendations.
Yes, for their review and recommendations.
I'll second that.
Roll vote, Councilman Hassett,
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger,
Yes.
Councilman Kraslovsky,
Yes.
Councilman Ryan,
Yes.
Supervisor Wall.
Yes. And we do need to go into executive session to discuss an employee issue. And also to discuss contract negotiations. Not contract, you should know this term.
Arbitrary.
No,
Negotiate.
Dispute resolution?
Sounds like,
collective bargaining, thank you. That was the word I was looking for.
What word is it?
Collective bargaining
bargaining.
agreement,
To review a collective bargaining agreement.
Is that a motion?
yes.
I'll second it.
It was on the tip of my tongue, I just couldn't think of what it was called.
We should get you a little card with the
Yeah.
allowable things on it.
Yeah, I know them, I just couldn't remember it. I actually have a card back in my office. It's like, when I was on the planning board, we had our little cheat sheets for those things. So, do we want to make, I don't know if we have to wait, do we want to do the bills too at the same time?
I think you do the motion after you look at the bills. I forget, we went through the.
Motion to pay?
Yeah.
Motion to
That's
pay
after we
bills?
do the bills, yeah.
Right.
We have a motion.
We're in executive session.
Yes.
Well, I think Mandy's saying we have to pay the bills first, is that what you're saying?
No, I can give them to you while you're
Okay.
doing it.
Yeah.
So, we get two motions then.
Yeah.
Do we have to do a
Wait,
vote
we
for
just
that?
want one motion now on the floor.
Motion after.
Yeah, just a
The
motion.
motion to pay is
first.
going to come afterwards. We have a motion on the floor right now to go into executive session.
Right, now, I'll second.
And that's the second.
And you want to do a
So you'd
roll
have to do a
vote
roll
We'll
call.
vote on executive.
I'm sorry.
She's packing up, she's leaving us.
Okay, hold on, we're gonna write that down. Okay. Roll vote, Councilman Hassett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger.
Yes.
Councilman Kraslovsky.
Yes.
Councilman Ryan.
Yes.
Supervisor Wall.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you all for coming.
Thank you.